It's seen all the time, that huge celebrity name or promising rising star who seems poised enough to grab Hollywood by the reins, and then their true colors are supposedly revealed and the public is turned off quicker than they've ever loved them. These upcoming celebrities all seem to share the theme of being publicly forced or shunned out of the industry in common, so with that being said, keep watching today's Where They Now countdown of our picks of the top 10 spoiled brats who destroyed their career. Now, is it fair to call these stars spoiled brats for their lifestyles, or are they truly taking their fame for granted? Share your responses below and let's jump right in. In our 10th spot, Kendall Jenner. Ever since Kendall's alleged mean girl attitude has made itself seemingly known in Hollywood, sources claimed it's put people off from wanting to work with her, while also supposedly acknowledging that Kendall's fellow models low-key despise her because of how privileged she is. Not to mention, massive amounts of reports state how Kenny gets opportunities and jobs handed to her rather than having to work for them like a lot of the other stars and less credited runway queens. However, according to Kendall, she swears her upbringing from her family's famous reality show has actually stopped her bag from coming in regards to strutting down the fashion aisle. Her lifelong fame is not because of her nepo baby status, if you ask Kendall. In fact, the reality star stirred up quite the controversy when she explained on the second portion of KUWTK's reunion special how she never took her platform for granted, but was also aware people were less likely to hire her given the televised drama her life was built around. She further informed Love, "What I have has almost worked against me. I had to work even harder to get where I wanted because people didn't take me seriously as a model because of the TV show." Even though her statements are arguable, Kendall even went on to insist that she put in the hard work of running around Europe to get jobs and dropped her last name on her resume and portfolio just to receive them. And well, all in all, just because Kendall is mega famous, it doesn't entirely mean she's lived an easy breezy life, even if her life as a rich kid seemed a lot easier than us regular folks ever had it. Everything in life comes at a negative, even despite all the money and privilege the world throws at her feet. Before we jump into number 9, tell me in the comment section who your favorite celebrity is. In our 9th spot, Cara Delevigne. For Cara, it seemed her career was completely trashed after her most recent substance spiral from the events of 2022's Burning Man Festival that fall. While the acting model has since stepped forward to reveal she is clean, sober, and doing a lot better mentally, a lot of sources speculated whether she'll ever put back together the crumbled effects of her glorious modeling days. Cara formally stated how she simply had no cares in the world about her life when she went down her dark path, but has turned out from not being okay to making a commendable recovery from her fall from grace. The former Victoria's Secret angel once had the world at her feet with her stunning visuals and sensational career, but coming from a past where her mother had a history of overusing illegal substances, it's a little less shocking to understand how Cara succumbed to her personal demons. In fact, Cara stated how she had a past with consuming adult beverages when she was only 7 years old. On top of this, she was under diagnosis for a number of things, including the cognitive battler dyspraxia. Not to mention, when the world fell into unprecedented times, Cara was feeling at her lowest and backed into a corner where she felt completely alone. However, this is hope that the actress's fresh start will someday reward her in big ways. In our 8th spot, Jaden Smith. Apparently, like many others on today's list, Jaden is only one of the 2 Smith kids who are problematic spoiled children. Much like other child stars with famous parents, Jaden was detailed as having his whole life handed to him from the minute he stepped into the game. It doesn't help that at one point the younger star was going on massive Twitter rants about his Hollywood lifestyle. But Jaden has never shied away from showing his real self, including all the tripped out stuff he got into and his personal beliefs. However, this method seemed to piss off a lot more people than please them, and in turn has branded Jaden as one of H-Town's biggest brats. It's unfortunate given Jaden was allegedly forced into fame by his father, as the Smith duo has opened up about several times. This doesn't stop the industry from casting an eye on them though, and it's probably why Jaden's music career hasn't taken off, despite some of his songs being similar to lots of hits in today's day and age of music. In our 7th spot, Justin Bieber. Justin's life supposedly transitioned from one that was untouchable in terms of success and status to a falling destructive path that in turn reportedly ruined his life and career. And according to the majority of reports, one of Justin's biggest fumbles was his marriage to Hailey. Given his past of being grating in public and causing problems both online and physically in person, when you mix the woman he ended up marrying as opposed to the one fans claimed he was meant to be with forever, you get one of the industry's most cancelled men. Surprisingly, Justin started out from not much, at least when you compare his upbringing to that of celebrities born into their fame. He began his career singing on the streets of Toronto, Canada, with a guitar in his hand and a powerful voice inside. But the fame seemingly got to him and blew up his head, leading to Justin's tirades and his reportedly inappropriate behavior. Sometimes the star probably needed a break away from the spotlight, but he was never granted such, and in turn resultantly spiraled until he took himself out of his former situation. In our 6th spot, Miley Cyrus. There have been various rumors of Miley's career fizzling out nowadays, claiming she is losing her credibility and general wow factor in the industry, and how she isn't far as media attractive as she once was, supposedly. Her 2015 MTV mess that surrounded Nicki Minaj and Taylor's best music video debacle found Miley smack dab in the middle, but it's a ground she placed herself in as opposed to being dragged in. This was also around the time of her Robin Thicke mess, which obviously didn't help Miley's then rebellious image that the world was collectively turned off from. According to reports, Miley has a bad habit of making issues that don't involve her about herself, seemingly excelling at flipping the script to stay ahead of publicity. Miley has been referred to as a spoiled, privileged teen pop star who took that attitude into her adulthood and made it everybody's problem. Though this outlook may not be fair given how much child stars go through to obtain and maintain the massive amounts of fame they eventually own. In our 5th spot, Laughlin. Lori is a name one hears and either knows right away who she is or is completely stumped on why the name sounds familiar. Well, for the latter, Lori is actually a well-known actress whose most notable career move was when she played Aunt Beck in Full House. But smack dab in the midst of her reprisal for the series' Netflix sequel, Fuller House, Lori's career saw a startling fall to its demise. It seems overnight her star status tanked and has yet to make a comeback after she was sentenced to conspiracy to commit fraud back in 2020 for her part in a prestigious university 2019 scandal that saw her serving 2 months in jail. In case you missed it originally, wealthy parents paid bribes to have their children accepted into their country's top schools. When the accusations towards Lori first surfaced, she was immediately pulled from Fuller House and When Calls the Heart, despite landing an appearance as her When Calls the Heart character in the show's spin-off When Hope Calls, and a starring part in Great American Family's Fall into Winter. As her first since the scandal, Lori has not seen another role of the same caliber as Fuller House. In our 4th spot, Armie Hammer. After Armie's very public scandal got turned into a docu-series detailing the very graphic and horrendous acts he was accused of, Armie was let go from pretty much every upcoming show and film he was meant to appear in, including Shotgun Wedding, Billion Dollar Spy, and the televised series The Offer. His allegations surrounded physical manipulation and aggressive messages, all of which became viral after Armie's messages went public of him referring to himself as a cannibal. The events also saw Armie dropped by his publicist and agency, forcing him to retreat from the limelight in hiding. And he did a good job of staying undetected until he was later spotted as an alleged timeshare salesperson up in the Cayman Islands. He was also discovered back in LA that summer, but reports stated he had no work lined up to be there for. In our 3rd spot, Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay's not-so-hot streak of massive fame from films like Mean Girls and Freaky Friday abruptly halted in early 2007 after her car accident in Beverly Hills, resulting in her visiting a hospital, and later revealed a DUI charge of possession and illegal substances. Despite being discharged from the LA rehab center she was admitted to initially, Lindsay also saw a misdemeanor hit and run after the incident. And with her career seemingly hanging on by a thread, according to the media, the child star was again detained on the same charges merely 2 months after, and days following another unsuccessful rehab attempt. The massive downfall she took only got worse when she made a comeback in I Know Who Killed Me, as her role saw the actress portray opposite versions of herself in 2 starring roles. Her dual performance landed Lindsay the Worst Screen Couple and Worst Actress at the 2008 Golden Raspberry Awards, and the film saw a total of 8 Razzies for the night. In our 2nd spot, Amanda Bynes. At one point, Amanda was on the ups to become a massive breakout star, but that was a long time ago, and after her rise to the top, the actress ran into a ton of issues similar to her fellow child stars at the time. Though the substances and drinks didn't fully axe her career, Amanda's foul 2012 Twitter storm weeks after her arrest surely buried it. Obviously no longer accessible, E-Online dredged up the tweets that came for stars well above her status at the time, including Drake, Rihanna and Chris Brown, and Jay-Z and Miley Cyrus. Amanda even came for herself in the tweets, also allegedly setting her pants and her driveway aflame. They all resulted in Amanda's bipolar disorder diagnosis and had the star placed in 2 psychiatric facilities with a career that had her iced out of Hollywood. Although Amanda attempted to revive her career in the years that followed, even going back to school, widening her interest and dropping acting overall, her image has never measured to her former since. And in our first spot, Olivia Jade. Finally, we have YouTuber Olivia Jade, who is the daughter of another famous face on today's list, Laughlin, and fathered by Mossimo Giannoli. Olivia and her family swept headlines alike back in 2019 over the educational admissions scandal regarding Olivia and her sister Bella's false recruitments to the University of Southern California. The siblings' parents paid off a scammer named Rick Singer $50,000 to falsely designate their daughters to the school of choice. Of course, both famed parents denied any involvement and later faced short jail stints, but Olivia claimed only her mother had unfairly shouldered the blame. On a 2020 Conversation with Olivia Jade podcast episode, the star sat down with her sister to dish their opinions on the notoriously viral case. As for ABC News, this scandal implicated dozens of wealthy parents and athletic coaches, including actor Felicity Huffman. Olivia broke down details further when she recalled, "Even though I was also getting dragged negatively, it didn't nearly affect me as much as seeing mom having all this thrown on her. She really took this whole thing on her back solely. There are a lot of other people that were in this case and a lot of other parents, and I do not know one other person's name." On top of this, Bella mentioned how her first love dumped her over the scandal, and of course, Olivia's career massively suffered from the damages her parents and others had done. That's been today's WATN. I've been your host, Michaela, and thanks for watching, friends.